Okay. So now let's go over the homework for homework 2. I did grade this, so your grade is posted, but I'm just going to go over it so if you have questions. So 1 is D, 2 is B, 3 is D, 4 is A, 5 is C, 6 is A, 7 is A, 8 is A, 9 is A, 10 is B. And someone pointed out, I don't remember if it was this class or the other class, but this last one technically is multimodal, but the closest answer here is bimodal. So that's what I was looking for. Because it is not skewed, because it just has 3 modes. Any questions on those multiple choice? Okay. Moving down to using publicly available data. So this just shows you the answers from the PA Department of Health website. So for Chester County, which this doesn't say Chester County because I didn't fix it, but the numbers are right. So for the school year of 2009 to 2010, the rate was 9.93%. And from 2012 to 2013, it was 11.16. This second part of that question was asking you to compare Chester County to the Southeastern District overall. So the 2 rates would be this 11.15 and 14.33%. 16, and 14.33. And I was also looking for you to say that the Chester County rate of 11.16 was lower than the district rate of 14.33. Then for CDC Wonder, you had to make all these lovely little graph things on that website. So these are the numbers that you should have pulled from the very far right column of the table you pulled up. They may vary slightly just because they do update past records all the time. So last semester when I did this, everyone's numbers were the same, but they weren't the same as the ones I had. So I think there was 1 or 2 of you that had numbers that were like correct when I went and looked back at it again, but this is what most of you had. So they might have updated it like in the middle there somewhere. Hard to say. And then this last one was just summarizing that table. So as long as you had something remotely similar to this, you did get credit for that. And then this last part was creating a table, which is really part 3 and not part 2. Obviously, I'm not very good at checking things like that. But so a few of you did it differently, and it was fine. A few of you did it differently, and I made corrections. I think I made comments on almost everyone's table, so I would recommend looking at your feedback so you can see what I'm telling you to do in the future. But you have to have the table title. Make sure you start with table 1, or if you have multiple tables, it could be table 2 or 3 or whatever. And a title, including the number in your sample is important, but I didn't take off points this time. Then this header row, so that's what I'm talking about in comments if you didn't have the header row, is this top line here, this bottom line of that header row. You could either have separated the mean and standard deviation like I did, or you could have done the plus minus symbol in between and done that down, or parentheses around the SD. Any of those is fine. This is just the way I did it, so any of those 3 options is fine. And then at the bottom here, just that one line at the very bottom of your table. And then a summary. So I don't have one of those in the answer key. I'm sorry about that. But what you first want to do in your summary is point the reader to the table. So pretend that the table is on a completely separate document and you're describing it to someone briefly. So you're going to say, in table 1, we talk about the number of hours per week spent in various activities for first-year undergrad students, period. And then you can go on to say, maybe the most time was spent socializing and the least amount of time was spent volunteering. something like that is what I was looking for. And I made a lot of comments on that part too. So, any questions on that part?
Well, not on this part. I just want to know why number 8 was flat.
Number 8. So, if you are asking people and they're answering kind of all over the board, so like some people are like, I strongly support marijuana legalization. Some people are like, I don't really care. And some people are like, definitely not, we cannot have this. Your graph's kind of going to look like a straight line across. So it wouldn't be skewed either way because you have responses all over. It would not be abnormal because that's just really not real. It's just kind of a fake answer. And it's not peaked because you have people all over. So it leaves flat as the only option. Does that make sense? Other questions on the homework? Any parts of it?
Could you go over number 7?
7. Yes. So after grading, the instructor realizes the exam was harder than they planned. So the shape of the distribution. So like we did last time when you draw the shape, I wish I could draw on my computer. So if a lot of people did poorly, so let's say that this is a score on the right here of 10, 50 would be like in the middle, and then 100 would be over here. And then up here, up the y-axis would be your number of people that got that score. So maybe we have 5. I'm just going to make it to have 30, maybe 25 or 30 people that could score in each range. So if a lot of people did poorly, they're going to have the most scores here, or over here, between 50 and 10, if they did really bad. Maybe not a lot of people did that poorly. Maybe only like one person did that. But then no one got 100 because everyone did poorly. So maybe the highest grade was a 75 here. So when you draw this, it goes like that because there's no one here. So it gets to 0 on the far left towards 100 because no one scored that high. So then when you're looking at skewness, there's more people that scored lower. So this would be skewed negative, positive, positively. I always get them confused because this is where you have fewer scores, the positive side on the right. If it was the opposite way and everyone did really well, it would look more like that, and it would be negatively skewed. Other questions on that? Other questions at all on the homework? A couple of things I want to point out on D2L, because this is where you'll want to refer back to in the future. This introduction to SPSS kind of just talks a little bit about what SPSS is, so if you forget in the future, you can listen to this. If you're using RamCloud at home, this second lecture shows you how to open SPSS files, because RamCloud stores downloaded files in a really weird spot. So if you're using RamCloud, you will want to watch this to see how to open those files. And this just tells you that you're supposed to read those pages, which is fine. Then the next part of this talks about frequencies. So this describes and shows you screenshots walking you through how to run a frequency procedure, which we'll do today, but it's just a reference for you guys in the future. And then at the very bottom of that is another little video showing you in a video how to do a frequency, a histogram, and the descriptive statistics procedure, which we're also going to talk about today. So this is just for you to have later. So when you forget, you can be like, oh look, I have a video, awesome. The next one is about recoding variables. So again, walks you through step by step in SPSS, showing you how to do it. And selecting cases and splitting the file is also on here. So if you already started and you already watched these, you're like ahead